I am DYANAROZAY, and I bring a unique commentary to your favorite reality TV shows and whatever is popping on social media. If you are not a subscriber, please become one. Hit that notification bell too, that way you don't miss any of my videos. I go by DYANAROZAY on all platforms, and I appreciate every single one of y'all for rocking with me. What's up, Supreme Team? Welcome to the channel. It's your girl, DYANAROZAY. I'm here to bring you guys the latest review. This is the reunion for Belle Collective Birmingham. Thank y'all for coming in and staying with me, okay? I am having computer problems again. I lost my mouse. So if you guys hear loud clicking, it's because I have to touch the computer, okay? So I'm so sorry. But if you can hear the sound of my voice, let me know by putting your city, your state, your country, your island, your territory, and your side dish into the chat, okay? Please and thank you. This is the Cookout, baby, and we got some things to talk about today, including, hold on, let me get my cookout video up, including what the ladies were wearing, what they were wearing. So come on in. I don't know if you guys can hear me, so please say something into the chat when you come through. That way I know, because I can't see y'all the way I normally do. Okay? Come on in. Everyone, please and thank you. What's up, fam? Come on in. Let's see. Oh, my girl is here. What is up? V with the T. Reality Recap is in the house. Hopefully y'all saw her review with Kayla. She did an interview with Kayla on Thursday, I believe. It was a good interview, so hopefully y'all saw it. Nice to have you. Reality Recap. She said, I didn't watch it yet. Baby, it was a lot. It definitely was a lot. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I don't know. I hope that Stormi stays on the show. I know she it was heavy for her, so she's trying to figure out if this is going to work for her brand. But I will say, this is your show, girl. Do not let anybody run you off this doggone platform at all, ever. Okay, I think that's wild. What's up, Miss Teresa? Welcome to the chat. Nice to have you. Teresa is one of my members, and y'all know how I feel about my members, damn it. If you'd like to become one, hit the link at the top of the page, okay? We're going to talk about some folks. I had y'all take a poll at the very top of the chat. Whose side are you on after watching this? Okay, you said you're watching Tonight with Love and Marriage Huntsville finale. Oh, did you see the reunion clip? Miss Vanessa, on the reunion, Tisha starts crying and basically saying she doesn't know if she can continue with Marceau. And then you see Marceau's eyes well up with tears, child. Marceau damn near started crying on the reunion stage. And he said, I can't do it anymore. I said, oh my God, my heart. Oh, I don't want to see that. But yes, I am going to be watching, and we're going to be talking about it, because damn it, the way they let Martell take them down. Oh my goodness. We'll get into it, y'all. I'm trying to catch everybody's comments. Hold on. I still can't see y'all. I hate this for me. Good morning. Hold on, child. All right. You said you're here from Fayetteville. Look on my Facebook page. He looked at Tisha like she was an alien. He looked broken. That was like, Marceau likes to buck up, but for that first time, he looked at Tisha. He was about to cry, and he said, I can't do it anymore. I told y'all maybe 2 weeks ago that there was going to be a conversation had about divorce, and all I have to say is Martell did it. It's not funny, but Martell in my opinion, I know this is the Birmingham reunion, but Martell, in my opinion, because the Scotts did know a lot about their relationship, Melody and Martell's relationship. And if y'all listen to Melody at the end of the 9th season reunion, that was her last reunion, she actually admits to Maurice, she said, I used to call you all the time for advice and counsel with my marriage with Martell. If you watch that show, you would never think that Melody had that type of relationship with Maurice, but she did, which means they knew a lot. They just didn't talk about it. And I really feel like Martell was trying to strike them before they struck him, even though they never told a lot of the deep shit they probably knew. And now Tisha and Marceau up there looking crazy, child. I mean, you can call it fair, but the Scotts didn't do half, not even a pinch of what Marceau did to, or what Martell did to them at all. They never came out and gave any tea other than what was already said. And bottom line is, if you go back and watch that show, what Martell claimed he was so upset about, how dare you laugh at me? How dare you laugh at me when I was down? He brought that dumbass conversation about having 2 cell phones to the Scott brothers. Melody caught me with 2 phones. Marceau barely said anything. The stuff that we know Marceau could have said, he didn't say, other than saying, if my wife would have told me to get rid of the bitch and to get rid of the cell phone, I would have did it. And then they laughed about it. That's it. That's what Martell puts his flag in the ground for. That's it. And there isn't anything you could tell me different. I have watched the show backward, forward, and fast forward, okay, like they used to do to the old rock videos. Martell wanted to bring them down because he was afraid of what they could say. They never said it. They never said it. Except for what happened with Destiny at the end, child. Destiny in the 9th season, that was probably one of the biggest reveals that we had ever gotten about Melody and Martell's relationship. Melody and Martell revealed their own tea. And Ariane revealed their tea. The Scotts did not. Nope. Anyway, I started with that. My bad. This is the Bell Collective Birmingham review, okay? And I apologize up front to y'all because I don't have access to my comment section the way I normally would because my mouth's fried. It fried out on me. So anyways, I keep touching it. I keep touching my book thinking that I can move the notes and I can't. I got to do it with my hand on the computer. Anyway, let's talk about this real quick because y'all know how I feel about y'all protecting your skin, okay? This is a product that I do use. You can see it right here. Black Girl Sunscreen, and I use the 50 SPF. You can use it underwater for a total of 80 minutes before you have to reapply. It's an excellent product. And y'all know if you are in that burning ass sun, you got to protect your face, okay? Especially if you're using skincare products, make sure that you finish everything with sunscreen before you go outside, even on a cloudy day, okay? So if you would like to buy this particular product, and they do have other SPFs, you can get 20, 30, 15, whatever you choose. Go ahead and hit the link that's either showing up on the top of your cell phone. There's a little shopping icon there. Click that. Or if you're on your computer, there's a link right underneath the menu bar, and it will take you directly where to buy, and it'll ship right out to you, okay? So I appreciate you guys for supporting me on that. Miss Edith said that she loves Black Girl Sunscreen. Thank you, girl. I appreciate you. Now we're going to vote on these doggone outfits, okay? Let's vote on the girls' attire for the reunion last night. This is Miss Amber. Look, I actually like this. It didn't show up very well in this picture, but it was very, very pretty. She had on a pant jumpsuit. Y'all can see it there with beads and diamond like rhinestones on it. Very, very cute. I think all the ladies were supposed to dress in some form of white, but a few of the girls changed it up. Take the poll at the top of the chat, you guys. Anyway, if you like this outfit, okay, I want to see fire emojis. And if you do not, put the tomato emoji. If you thought the girl could have done better, put the tomato emoji into the chat. But right now we are voting on these outfits. I thought that Miss Amber looked cute, so I'm going to put a fire emoji in the chat. Daggone it. But y'all let me know what y'all think, okay? Where is my fire emoji? Hold on. I'm not sure if y'all can see me or what. Okay. I agree. I agree. We definitely should be getting the girl's full look. We're about to talk to him, child. Let's send him some DMs and see if he listens. And see if he listens to us, because we need to be able to vote on the doggone outfits. Okay, so this is for Amber. And it looks like more of you like it than not. I have only one tomato emoji in my chat, child. Everybody else likes it. Everybody else likes it. You said it was just okay. Too much embellishments for me. Okay, the majority of y'all thought it was fire though, so she's doing her thing. She's doing her thing. Okay, how about Miss Tiffaney? How did you feel about Tiffaney? I loved Tiffany's outfit. Okay. Oh, you said I loved everybody's outfit but Tiffany's. Yeah, Tiffaney was a damn no for me. And she was for all of you too, okay? I'm not even lying. Here's all the tomato emojis. There's more people giving Tiffaney a tomato. I don't know. That front area, Pisces did like Tiffaney. That ruching around the front, that to the deep V, the big shoulders. She's such a small woman. I thought that she looked like she was drowned out. Yes, girl. I said the same thing. I said, what's happening with those shoulders, child? It just didn't look like it fit very well. So there's a lot of people who did not like Tiffaney. A lot of people didn't like Tiffaney. Okay, so right now Tiffaney failed for this season with her dress. Hopefully she'll do better next year. Now I'm going to put up Miss Kayla. Now I'll show y'all the full design for Kayla. This is who we're voting for next. So here's Kayla. Kayla's dress definitely showed up better in pictures than it did on stage. But I actually thought that her dress was cute too. I thought it was young. I liked the little diamond bow in the front. It was actually it was sheer so you could see through it. I thought she did a good job with her dress. It looked, like I said, it looked much better in the picture. And it got a little washed out under the light on stage, but I thought she was beautiful. You said you thought that her blush was too much. So there is a Black woman by the name of Esther who has this new blush design that Kayla was wearing. If y'all follow her on TikTok, or if y'all are on TikTok, period, y'all have heard about all of these famous makeup artists who have stolen this Black woman's blush design. And there's a lot of people who are screaming at them. I think it's Patrick Trois. He has a new blush line where he's teaching people how to do Esther's actual her blush, her technique. And so that was pretty bad, but I think that was paying homage to her. And so I liked it because of that. But yeah, all of you are giving fire emojis to Kayla's dress. It's me. Wanda said the bottom half is fire. The top half, you're giving a tomato to. You're giving a tomato to. You said I knew it when I saw it. Yes. So you knew that this was the Esther blush. But yes, I'm giving her a thumbs up for bringing it to TV. But this is a big deal that is being debated right now on social media. And who is the next step? Let's do Fumi next. What did y'all think about her dress? I'm going to say I was not fond of her dress. I don't think it played out well underneath the lighting, and I couldn't even get a good picture of it when I went to her page. So for me, it's a tomato. Right. Fumi is tomatoes, baby. That's what I said. And Fumi is like a big fashion like guru. You know what I'm saying? Like she's in the know when it comes to fashion. She talks about her $300,000 purse collection. I said, baby, how you miss the mark? How did you miss the mark for this? She did not get the silver memo. I don't know why she didn't wear silver. I said the same thing. A lot of people are saying that you feel the same way. Tomato for Fumi, baby. Tomato for Fumi. So more tomatoes than fire when it comes to Fumi. But Fumi, I knew she could have done better. I don't know if maybe she was paying homage to a specific designer. That could be possible. Oh, my friend, Miss Stormi Love is in the house. Y'all know Miss Stormi is an amazing supporter of mine. And she is coming in as a member. And if you guys would like to become one, you can by clicking the link at the top of the chat. But y'all know I love me some Miss Stormi Love, child. She is an amazing, amazing member. And it's the rest of y'all. And I also have Miss Deshonda the Fox and Belicious is in the house. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love to see all of y'all when y'all come in. But yes, it looks like Miss Fumi, she may have missed the mark this year. Next year, she'll definitely catch it, I'm sure. Hey, Erica. Erica said, absolutely not, child. That dress is ugly. All right. And then the last person to come in with their dress is Stormi Steele. She had an interesting top, her corset, and then the silver bottom, child, and it had some transparent panels on the thigh and in the back. So she showed a little bit of skin. What were your thoughts on Stormi's dress? Put it in the chat. Patricia said, I did not like it. I did not like it. Tomato, fire, love Stormi's dress. I thought that it made her look very slim. She looked very slim. I liked the color, but there were some things about it that didn't sit for me. I thought it could have been done better. So I'm actually going to give it a tomato. The boobs weren't sitting. Okay. There were things that I said the same thing. I said that bottom, her breasts aren't doing well. I didn't like it. And because of that, I'm giving it a tomato. But I think that there were parts that I liked, parts that I didn't. I wish she could have done it a little better. A little better. So because I wasn't 100% in love with it, I'm giving it the tomato emoji. Welcome, everybody. Hey, Bama girl. Nice to have you. Okay. Y'all, I had to lean all the way up to read your comments, so I didn't want to scare anybody. I didn't want to scare anybody, so I'm here. Okay. You said that the cutouts were tomatoes. Okay, it looks like you guys are kind of 50-50 about Stormi's dress. Yeah, there were elements that were bomb.com, And then there were some things that was just like, what's going on there? You know what I'm saying? I like the bottom part. It was the top part, the corset part, that I had some questions about. But again, hopefully she'll be back next year. I hope so anyway. Don't do it, girl. Don't quit. Give it a second season, okay? All right. You said the dress in confessional was amazing. Look, she said, I like it, but I don't. Same. I said the same thing. I went, it's not curling all the way over for me. It's not curling all the way. But anyways, y'all, that was it. That is the dress segment. Hopefully they will give us, they need to take professional pictures of the girls and show us all of their dresses. You know what I mean? You said Stormi has done better. True. Okay, 157 of you guys are here. Hit the like button, share this video. Take the poll at the top of the chat. After watching this episode, the reunion, I think it's only one part. In fact, I'm sure of it. How do you feel? Are you on Stormi's side or are you on Tiffaney's side? Because this is what I have to say about Tiffaney. I know a lot of people have been, trying to figure out what type of person Tiffaney is, or they like the idea of Tiffaney going after Stormi. Stormi's mean. Stormi's not a girl's girl. Stormi's a bitch, so I don't like her. Everything y'all saying about Stormi, you can say about Tiffaney too. There's a couple of things that Tiffaney did in this particular episode that made me look at her in a different light. Hold on, child. Let me get the notes. Bell Collector Birmingham, where are you? So I'm going to say this. Her whole thing this particular episode was, who's direct? You're not direct. I'm the realest person here. You know what I'm saying? What else? Next time you have a problem, come to me. Don't spread it. This person, that person, come to me first. All of that shit is a control issue, in my opinion, because you can't tell someone to be direct when you yourself aren't being direct. You haven't been direct either, girl. There was a lot of things, in my opinion, that Tiffaney did in the episode that had me kind of like, well, where do you stand, girl? Because when this whole thing happened, when she was uninvited from the 48-hour live, just giving y'all a heads up on where I stand. She seemed to take it on the chin. And she was like, shit, it's her shit. I don't know her that well. Could I be upset? Sure. I don't like being left out of stuff. That would be anybody. But when she took it on the chin and she was like, I'm going to Atlanta with my family, when she was sitting around the friendship group with women that are her friends that she brought to this show, and they were all, oh, it was real good and it was fun and it was this. I said in my review, she took that exceptionally well, because personally, for me, you invite me to something, you kick me out of that something, and then my friends come into a little circle to talk about it. I would probably say to my friends, listen, I know y'all had a good time and I'm happy about that, happy to hear it. But until I get things worked out with Stormi, I'm not real cool with hearing y'all talk about it, because I feel away. And that's a normal thing to say and think. That's keeping it real. If she was all about being real, sitting there smiling, well, what happened? Oh, that does sound fun. That shit, I was like, oh, girl, you better than me. Because most people wouldn't do that. Most people wouldn't do that. In fact, before you start talking about some shit, you better ask me if it's cool. I mean, I would. Do you mind if I talk to you about this? Are you okay with hearing it? I've said that many times to my friends. Let me know, because I don't want you to feel away. I don't want you to think that I'm stumping on your head with some shit when I know that what she did wasn't cool with you. And I don't care what you tell me. I don't believe you. That's human. That's human. That's what keeping it real is. You didn't keep it real when your friends was doing that to you. multiple times, which is why when you got to the house, you felt out of sorts. You felt away because you weren't being real about your feelings. That's where I stand on it. That's one of the examples. I didn't know why nobody brought that shit up. Because when we watched that back, when I watched it and everybody was, I was like, oh, she did feel away. She wasn't happy with that. She wasn't comfortable. And even though we don't have Sonetta, that he didn't bring the friends out, because I would have loved to see Sonetta come out there. Sonetta was the main one yipping and yapping with everybody, and that's her friend. So just saying. Just saying. I can't see all of your comments, so I apologize. I'll go back and read them. I know that there isn't we don't have a moderator today. It is what it is. Just be respectful to everybody, okay? Y'all can say whatever. I'm just sharing what I saw with my two peepers. You can't demand something from someone and not be able to give it. Because what it really seemed like is you just want to be able to be rude, crude, figure out a person's insecurities and talk all about the shit, and then say, oh, well, I'm real. I bring it to you. You know what I'm saying? How did you say? I'm direct. Well, there's a way to be direct while still showing grace, while still being humble, while all the shit you was asking for everybody else, you weren't giving it. You weren't giving it, whether you think so or not. And you have a lot of friends that's in the amen corner of yours. You calling everybody else a minion. You have minions. You have people who are letting you think, say, and do shit that isn't cool, be under the guise of you keeping it real. That's minion behavior. Same thing, in my opinion. In my opinion. Okay. What else did you do, girl? Because I wrote down some examples. Let's talk about you accepting that invite to Stormi's house when you weren't ready to go because you felt away. Now, when we see you take the call or get the text message inviting you, you got up, did a dance, okay? Oh, I got invited to Stormy's. The bells are about to bell. You was happy. You called your friend Amber. She's sitting up here with a blanket over her whole entire head. Girl, I can't believe it. Stormi just invited me to her house. Okay, so clearly you recognize that shit was an olive branch. You recognize that. And walking into her home, you could have said, do you mind if I have a conversation with you right up front? Just like you were demanding she called you or have a conversation. You could have did the same. You could have called her before you got to the house. You had the number because you got the text. So you had all the tools that you claimed everybody else on this show had. And whatever reason, they weren't being real. They weren't being direct. You weren't being direct either. You walked into that lady's house, your entire mood changed. And you could see it. Even Stormi saw it. And it was her fucking house. When you're in confessional, even the producers are like, are you okay? Are you okay? And you know what you said in confessional? I wasn't ready and I probably shouldn't have come. So knowing all of that, since you demand realness, since you demand that people keep it direct, why didn't you? Why didn't you say, girl, I know I'm here now. I feel away though. Maybe we can talk now about whatever this shit is. Or why didn't you just leave? Because you couldn't do it. Real questions. They didn't bring the shit up there. I'm bringing it up here though, because you were literally couldn't do what you were demanding from everybody else. You couldn't do what you demanded from everybody else. Let's see. Do I have anything else as an example? Those are the two biggest things. You camouflage your insecurities. In my opinion, you camouflage your insecurities under this whole I'm being direct. You want to be able to read a person's entire soul and give it to them like you're an open book, and you are not. You are not. You are not. You require the same type of backup with Kendra. I went back and watched a couple of episodes. You require, when you have your friend group there, you good at the mouth. But when you don't, you shut down. You do exactly what you accuse Stormi of doing, Fumi of doing, Kayla of doing. How about the two friends that was at your choosing party, Kendra and I think it was another lady named Kayla, and you had them do your dirty work by, barking off at the mouth to your other friends? Minions. That's minion behavior. That's minion behavior. Same deal. I just want to see people in these shows, and I know sometimes it takes a minute for you to see yourself the way you accuse everybody of being, but everybody's human. You meet people, you got to learn things about them first. Was Stormi wrong for kicking you out the party? I polled y'all on it. Out of her 48-hour live, when I did the poll on my page, over 60% of y'all said you would have done the same thing. It was an important event. Stormi is a businesswoman. If she couldn't risk it, she had to do X, Y, and Z. Over 60% of y'all thought that Stormi did the right thing by not inviting her. And it clearly hurt her feelings. And I just wish she would have been direct and said it. When Stormi moved her seat, when Stormi moved her plate to sit somewhere else, she was crushed. She wasn't direct or keeping it real. All she had to do was say, Stormi, I was really hoping you would stay sitting beside me. Maybe I can, if you are claustrophobic, can I change seats with somebody else? Can I sit beside you? Because I wanted this dinner to be a chance for you and I to talk. You didn't do that. You immediately took offense to it, and then you railroaded it into something else. That's what you're good at doing, Tiffaney. That's all I'm saying. When you saw her sitting there, you was like, oh, Stormi's sitting beside me. Maybe this means we could talk. I hate when people do that. Stop pretending like you're keeping it real when really all you're doing is keeping it real insecure. You're keeping it real insecure because when you get it exactly the way you give it, you shut down. You make it everybody else's problems. You can call people a bunch of names. That's it. That's all it is. So anyway, that's what I saw. I don't really know any of these people. And in fact, I don't know them at all. I don't know Stormi. I don't know Tiffaney. I don't know anybody on that show. So I don't give a shit. I'm telling y'all what I saw. That's it. That's it. I would think that her moving her seat and saying, I'm being humble here, or I have a, whatever she said, I'm claustrophobic. I would rather you say that than, I don't know, bitch, your breath stink. I still can't stand you. There was things that was happening today that I didn't like about you. You beg for confrontation, and then when you get it, it's a problem. That's all I'm saying. Just figure it out. Figure that part out, okay? Anyway, on this particular episode, it opens with Stormi on stage with her three-legged dog, Trey. Okay. Trey is sitting there, and when they start clapping, Trey starts barking a little bit. I guess got a little uncomfortable. We remember when Tiffaney came into the house, Trey act like he saw a demon. So he started barking on the show. Anyway, Carlos said, is Trey cool, or does he have a problem with Tiffaney? And Stormi said, no, he's cool. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So I thought that was interesting. Y'all know Carlos got to get it started right away. Anyway, they talk about Birmingham being the Mecca of the South and how there's a lot of Black professionals there. And it has a very affluent Black culture, right? Culture, influencers, things like that. So he's real happy to be able to put a spotlight on the show. And all the ladies seem, pretty happy about being picked to be a part of Birmingham, the collective Birmingham, right? Anyway, Fumi ends up taking issue with Tiffaney saying in her opening statements that there's a lot of influencers competing with each other because she's an influencer. Even though I did not take that at all to mean that she had a specific issue with Fumi. Fumi, for some reason, did, and that's how that got started. Anyway, Tiffaney quickly lets Fumi know, I see you, girl, trying to be direct in things, even though you're not. She was basically being facetious. I see you trying to be direct in things. It's about time, bitch, okay? Open your mouth. I wasn't talking about you. Don't know why you took it that way, but a hit dog will holler. That was Tiffaney's position. That was Tiffaney's position. A hit dog will holler. So who cares? Okay. Anyway, Fumi closes her mouth. I'm very direct. I'm very direct. Anyway, I really do like Fumi this season. In the beginning, I was trying to figure out who she was, but now I know I actually like her. I actually like her. I thought she was fun. I thought that she had she's a good sense of humor. But yeah, you were reaching in that scene because baby, who gives a shit? Let that lady say whatever. I didn't take her to be saying that you were competing with anybody. And all you've done is open up the door for her to say, you are a completely different person when you're having a one-on-one with me versus who you appear to be when you are in the company of Stormi. That's really what she's getting to. And she set the stage for that. Okay. All right. In the next part, we have Carlos King asking Stormi about her first celebrity collaboration with Lala and uninviting Tiffaney. Like, you know, we all saw it. That's a bold ass move, right? You invited everybody. I want y'all all to come. And then all of a sudden you send out a group text with the details and Tiffaney's name is left off. Now, when I look at it from that point of view, my first thought would have been maybe she accidentally left Tiffaney out the group. Because did they even find out for sure that she left Tiffaney off? Did Amber call and say, was this on purpose or was this an accident? Because I would have thought that it would have been an accident first. That could have been possible. But the way everything, do y'all remember that? Did someone call Stormi and say, did you intentionally leave Tiffaney off the invite? I don't remember. But I would have thought that first before I thought, you know what? Tiffaney's been left off the invite on purpose. Some kind of way they figure it out. Either way, okay, I didn't see it either, Malicious, because when they started talking it back, I said, bitch, I just would have been like, girl, you accidentally left her off. I invited her for you, though. I just sent her my copy of the text. Anyway, doesn't matter. They figure this out. And if they knew, you said Amber did. Okay, just making sure. Amber did. Amber has a conversation with Tiffaney about it. So does Sonetta, right? Two women who went to you, told you what was up, that this was the issue. We know that to be true. And now Tiffaney is holding on to some bullshit that she could have squashed very early on in the game. But Carlos asked Tiffaney, how did you feel about that? Did you think that Stormi was looking for free labor from the collective by making them promote her products and stuff like that? And Tiffaney says, yeah, but you know, it was a joke. Yeah, I do feel that way. I do feel like you were using them for free labor, but it was a joke. And then she goes on to say, maybe a marketing strategy. Yeah, it was a marketing strategy for sure. It helped market this entire show that you guys are sitting on. And then she brings up Martell. That's the reason why Martell was there, to help you sell product. Who gives a shit? You had the same marketing plan when you brought all the girls to the choosing event. I don't know why nobody is thinking about this. You were asking them questions. You're going to give them shirts so that they can wear your shit around town. Everything that you asked, everything that you were accusing Stormi of doing, you two did. This is what I mean when I say I'm kind of confused, because she put her foot down and make it seem like she's saying something very, thought-provoking. But she does the exact same thing and nobody calls her out on it. I'm gonna need people to figure this out. Stop letting these people take a hold of you, okay? Hey, what's up? Speaking with your girl Marcella. Nice to have you. That's why I got that mean mug face. That's why I got that mean mug face in a thing, because I was like, girl, you did the same shit and you're going to do the same shit because nobody's buying that damn t-shirt line or hat, okay? It just isn't going to happen. But anyway, she goes through all of that and she's like, well, Martell, you had Martell selling your stuff, and did, just like she had Lala sitting there. For sure. That's just what it is, girl. Anyway, for whatever reason, Stormi gets upset. She's triggered when she says that. I wish that she wasn't, though. I wish that somebody had the right mind to just accuse her of the same shit. But Kayla can sense the energy. So Kayla's like, listen, we were only on stage for 5 minutes. So I don't know if you can call it like, a big deal that we did anything, but we were on stage for 5 minutes. However, Stormi did invite me to something recently where I was a part of her event for 30 minutes or so, and she paid me very well. So she wasn't using us per se, but she did pay me when I was on her set for about 30 minutes or so. Okay. Now, Tiffany's still trying to run the whole, she's using you bit. And Carlos asked Amber, well, you're the CFO. How do you feel about this? Was this just a marketing ploy? Amber should have simply said, yes, bitch. Yes. What do y'all want from us? This is the job. We are literally selling products that people can't see or smell themselves before it gets mailed out to them. We need as many people in seats as possible. Facial recognition, somebody who can smell it, a person like Martell that everybody thinks is a badass dresser that likes a woman to be a certain caliber. Absolutely. Have him smell it. Let him tell you what's up. Let him say, I just bought 2, one for my mama, one for whomever. You know what I'm saying? That's how that goes. The fact that these people were so lost in the sauce, Tiffany knows how to say certain things to people that gets under their skin, and they can't think for shit. They can't think for anything afterwards. Anyway, Amber said, well, if it's my friend, because I would just do it for my friend. Nobody cares if you do it for your friend. Nobody knows your face, girl. But anyway, she said if it wasn't her friend, she would pay them. I don't know. Tiffany chimes in again and says, listen, is Kayla even Stormi's close friend? To which Amber does this whole froze face thing, right? You said you do it for your close friend, but is Kayla and Stormi friends? Now Amber's like this, because now she's letting us know that Tiffany and Amber were talking about Kayla and Stormi being friends. Y'all felt something about it. You're talking about it with each other. It was written all over Amber's face. She didn't know what to say about it. And Tiffany thinks she gets her big one off, right? Now you got Stormi rolling her eyes. Later in the show, we find out that that Stormi and Kayla knew each other for like 6 years or so. But in the moment, she's basically saying that bitch is a fraud. That friendship is a fraud. Because we got things to do later in this episode, bitch. And I've already put a battery in your back to get it done. Because I'm sorry, Amber. You have been applesauce on this show when it comes to both Stormi and with your good friend Tiffany. You've been applesauce, mush. You can't say anything to anybody about nothing. You ran in the house, put a blanket over your head again, girl, and started crying when you guys were at that dinner. So all of a sudden you got the spirit of toughness. And it was very obvious, it was very apparent. I didn't like it. I wish that you could have said what you thought and not what Tiffany wanted you to think. Personally, you would have answered those questions a lot better. Anyway, Stormi cuts Tiffaney off when she thought she was getting her big one. And she said, bitch, why don't you just say you hating and that you wish you could have been there? That's all you had to say. I'm hating and I wish I could have been at the 48 Hours Lives. Okay. All facts. She said, instead, you was running out to Atlanta. All facts. True. True. Anyway, Tiffaney denies it. I would have said that if that's what I thought. You definitely felt away, Tiffaney. You felt away when you was disinvited. That's all there is to it. Long story short, she pretends like she doesn't give a shit. We all know that she does. Moving on. Now we are talking about Amber. Amber on the show gave a storyline of getting 23 eggs that she can, turn into embryos later when she finds a man. The only problem is she's single and she's loving being single. She's afraid of having a man and what the chaos is going to bring to her life. Okay. I don't even know what to say about that. She's not even in a place where she wants to have the baby yet. So it is what it is. Anyway, moving past that, Carlos gave her some advice that I'm not going to repeat because who cares? Who cares? Fumi shares that, listen, she didn't get that mansion that she wanted, but she did put an offer on a few other houses. The one that she did put, I think, over $1 million offer on, she said that they would have, they only wanted the house with a contingency. So they put over $1 million offer on the house. It had a contingency. The owners did not accept it. So they're still in their house hunting phase. Okay. Carlos King said, are you aware of the finances in your home? Fumi said, not at all. Carlos said, do you even know what the mortgage is every month? Fumi said, that I don't know. Then Carlos said, do you help with the bills? She said, that I don't do. Okay, bitch, what she said, she is a princess. She meant it. I don't know nothing about them finances, child. I don't pay the mortgage. I don't know what it is, period. She also said, I don't put shit on shit. Not a bill at all. At all. Carlos said, do you get some sort of allowance? She went, I won't call it an allowance, but yeah, every month I get a check, okay, for some stuff. And I spend it by the end of the week. By the end of the week, whatever money was given to me by my husband is gone. And then I pull out that American Express Black card, and that does the talking for every single day after that. And Carlos said, oh. Now listen, I actually thought that was a good scene because we need to see more of that kind of stuff. Black women being spoiled. Get used to it. You know what I'm saying? Like the idea, like I said before, that people got to work their damn knuckles to the bone to the point of where if a Black woman does what she needs to do, get prenup signed, whatever the case may be, we get angry. Oh my, well, not we, because I don't, but some people. Some people get angry. Oh my God, get a job, go back to McDonald's. How dare you leave that man's money alone? We're multifaceted people. You got to see people achieve certain things in life and get it done. Fumi said, I raised that man's 2 kids. The same shit Marceau said. I helped raise that man's 2 kids. Those are his kids. Okay. And every once in a while, I get up in the morning and say hello and all the rest of the things, get them off to school good. But she said, I don't do that. That's not the relationship he signed up for. He knew what he was getting when he met me. It lets us know exactly how much money they got, or, an idea of how much money they got, and how she plays it. And she don't play. Anyway, after it was done, Carlos asked Miss Stormi, how do you feel about that? Are you okay with her? Or does that happen in your house? And Stormy said, I don't have any feelings about it, okay? She seems happy and it works for them, so I love it for them. I don't have a comment about it. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't happen in my house, though. And that's when Carlos asked Stormy if she was the breadwinner. How do you call yourself the breadwinner since you're the face of the company? And Stormy got real emotional about it, child. And I wish that she didn't, because she maybe things like this is a little more sensitive to her than it needs to be. But the bottom line is this. She said she watched that man chase his dreams of being a basketball player. He went overseas to do what he needed to do because they had been dating since they were in college. But she said when he came back to the States and they were together again, he put all of his energy and faith into what Stormy had going on when it wasn't even fucking manly to do. And I'm assuming he may have said that. How do I look? Because Courtney's a big dude, okay? And we remember when he was on Love and Marriage Huntsville and Marceau tried to punk Courtney and say that shit about, but you're doing woman's work. That's not even, who handles hair products? And Stormy said, or excuse me, Courtney said, if you want me to put in some manly work, I'll pop your ass in the head right now. Okay, if you want me to get manly about it, I can do that for you. But don't tell me what men work to look like, what it looks like to be a man in business, bitch. Didn't Tisha have to save your ass? Sorry about that, because I'm giving it to him now. But didn't Tisha have to save your entire businesses, sell apartment buildings, sign loans so that she could save you? Isn't that Tisha shit now? We can say that now because some of the other stuff has come out. But we remember how Marceau tried to punk Courtney. Anyway, she's still holding on to some of that because she ends up, trying to boo-hoo a little bit. And in the end of it, she was like, listen, I am the face of this shit. It is a 24-hour-a-day job. I eat, sleep, breathe this shit. But at the end of the day, it is my husband who takes our son to school every morning. It is my husband who gives him a bath every night. And if I didn't have that balance in my life, I wouldn't eat, okay? If I had to do that too, I wouldn't be where we are today. So I don't call myself the breadwinner for that reason alone. It takes the both of us. And the next time she tells that story, I want her to put some oomph in it. Stick your chest out, okay? Who gives a shit? If I'm blessed, he's blessed. If he's blessed, I'm blessed. There isn't anything that I can't ask that man to do, whether it's leave Birmingham, drive all the way to Chicago to pick up boxes, whatever it is, he does it. And that's what she should have said. Tisha was doing man's work, spackling them walls. That's right. She certainly was. Oh, I'm about to get on Marceau's ass tomorrow. You can best believe that. Y'all know how I feel about them right now. Courtney is a provider. I don't know Stormy, but Courtney I know from the North. Very kind, but a masculine person. Oh, I'm not doubting Courtney's masculinity at all. That was the shit Marceau said. But when he bit his lip when Courtney asked him if he wanted to drag him across that counter, when he went to see him at Black, and he was like, man, I'll whoop your ass, okay? We know that Courtney does not play about Stormy. We know that. So that's why it was funny. That's why it was funny. But anyway, Stormy got a little emotional about it. Then we end up hearing a little more of Kayla's personal story. Well, we really didn't hear it because you can tell that they have edited the part out where she talked about some kind of abuse. Because, baby, when I tell you everybody was damn near crying, Fumi was dabbing her eyes. Stormi looked like she was about to bawl out hard. Kayla ends up talking about her marriage to her ex-husband, just a little bit anyway, what we already knew, that she got married when she was 17, or excuse me, met him when she was 17, married when she was 18, pregnant within 6 months after that. And then it just cuts off. When we look at her again, tears in her eyeballs, okay? Like I said, Fumi was dabbing her eye with a tissue. Where she got the tissue, I don't know. Stormi also very choked up, eyes was watery. I said, oh, that baby was not doing well in that relationship at all. Okay. So anyway, oh, no problem. Sorry, I didn't mean anything by it, Miss Wanda Marie. Sometimes I see the comments, I think that they're for me. They're not. The comments are for y'all. I apologize. Don't take it personally. Yeah, so right now when we see her on these episodes, when she's crying and saying she had a hard day or whatever the case may be, we know that she's going through it with her ex-husband, but it's real, okay? But listen, Jason was at that reunion, child, helping her grease her legs up and putting her shoes on. And Jason loves him some Kayla. I like Jason for her. For whatever reason, I think it's a good relationship. But she talked about there being a 17-year age gap between the two of them. And she said that, you know, she feels like she is a grown woman now. She knows she wasn't then, but she's had some experiences and she's a better person for it. And her and Jason are doing well. Okay. Then we end up talking to Tiffaney about her storyline, which is that her husband doesn't want kids. And she said neither one of them wanted kids when she first got married. And then it sounds like she ended up talking him into having a baby with her, and he agreed. But he is standing on business. He's being very direct. He's keeping it real when it comes to not having another child. He already has an appointment at the chop shop, okay? He is about to get snipped and tied, and he's not feeling any ways tired about it. So she ended up crying a little bit. She said, listen, I didn't realize how serious it was for him, but now I know. And she's going to stand behind it. That's basically how she put it, okay? All right. Now they talked about Amber and Kayla. I did say that Amber was mush, applesauce during a lot of the scenes that we saw in the show, and she was to me, except when it came to bucking up on Kayla. That she was able to do with no problem, right? So they talk a little bit about how this entire thing started, right? Kayla's like, I don't know why she said I was ignoring her or that I don't speak to her. Because before I even met her at Stormi's first event, I invited her out to something I was doing. She showed up on my invite, and they showed pictures of her at Kayla's event. Kayla also gave production DM messages between her and Amber. She said, we're cool. Like, I had no reason to think that this girl thought I had a problem with her. Right? So she's like, I didn't know where that shit came from. She also said that she was at some place with Stormi, I guess in Stormi's bathroom or closet. And she said, I even squeezed your boobs. You had just got your tatas done. You just got your tatas done. And I squeezed them to see how real they were. And Amber go, wrong person. These are real, baby, okay? And she asked Stormi. Stormi confirmed that she had the wrong person. And okay, so we now know that she might see other people that look like you, girl. But Kayla said just 3 days ago, bitch, when we were all out, it was her and Sonetta. You offered me a piece of your cake. I guess you had a birthday party or whatever. And she said, I just don't know where all this is coming from. And it very much feels like to me, you used me to create some sort of beef in a storyline for you, because I don't give two shits about you. I didn't even know we had a beef. We were cool. Amber said, listen, bitch, I've been giving these people a lot extra than what they're actually saying. But Amber said, girl, I have been in front of them cameras for many a years, okay? So I don't need you for anything. My name is highly respected in this community. And Tiffaney said, cool, I'm gonna let it be then. I just know that you and I used to talk and everything seemed good. And when we got on this show, nothing. Like you're making it seem like you and I have had some long-standing beef that I wasn't speaking to you, and I just don't know where that was from. And I understand that. I'm more on Kayla's side than I am on Amber's side here. If y'all were talking to each other in DMs and all of that, why didn't you mention that on TV? What you told Stormi was she didn't speak to me at your event. She didn't speak to me here. She didn't speak to me there. We just thought that the girl was walking in the rooms and snubbing you. And you had some attitude about it. That's not true, though. To your admission, Kayla, that's not true. So anyway, Amber goes on to talk about the jokes that she was making on her IG page. Apparently, she had made, we thought it was a whole post about Kylan snorting 2 lines of coke, and also there was a comment about y'all gonna have my back, right? In the comment section of her IG page, not a post. Well, anyway, Amber took issue to that because her sister, Amber's sister, Kylan's mama, was snooping around in Kayla's comments, reading them, and then said, girl, she's over here saying she wants her followers to get at you. Don't let them dog me out. And she took that to mean she wanted her followers to go after Amber. You know how the fans can be. I don't want you to create a situation on this show where the fans are going after us. Now, Kayla said, first off, because she was trying to make it seem like it was a post that she made. First off, it wasn't a post. I was in the comment section on my page talking to my fans, and I'm not going to apologize to you for it. You shouldn't have been snooping around over there if you didn't want to see the shit. Secondly, you and I were actually in a good place, or at least I thought we were. So when I was laughing and joking it up with the comment section, I had no idea that you was over there looking for some shit to bring back to the show. Also make you look like you were looking for a storyline. Like this was bullshit. You needed somebody to have a beef with, and you made Kayla the issue, because there isn't anything about Kayla that looks like she has a fan base that wants to fight. That wants to fight at all. That's just not who she is as a person. Anyway, Carlos King said, well, Stormi, I'm going to have you weigh in on this because, baby, you left the show because of the fandom. Okay? And Stormi rolls her eyes hard as hell one more time. She was like, don't talk to me about that show. She said people were going after me when I wasn't even doing shit. So let's start there. But the fans are going to feel the way they feel, whether we are right or wrong in what they see on the show. All I ask for, and this is literally what Stormi says, all I ask for is that we take better care with how we speak about each other, because that's going to make all the difference. If the fans get mad at me because I'm jiving on Tiffaney, it's how I handle Tiffaney afterwards that's going to make the difference. If she and I still look cool, then the fans aren't going to take issue with it. I understood what she was saying. I knew exactly what she meant. But Stormi says that, and then Miss Tiffaney pipes the fuck in on conversation that had nothing to do with her. And she's like, well, hold on, because you're my friend to Amber. You're my friend. And that one right there, she doesn't know how to be direct. Because again, this is some shit that Amber and Tiffaney, this is how it comes across to me, already discussed at home. And so now she's looking for Amber to make the pop off. That one, who's your boss, because you're the CFO of her company, isn't direct. And friend, I know you don't want to say too much of anything, but I'm going to need you to check in for this. That's what she said. She wasn't being direct. She could have just told her she was wrong. She did tell her she was wrong. She said, we need to take better care, all of us, because the fans are going to feel however the fuck they want to feel. She didn't lie. She's been on TV before. She knows exactly what it is. I know what it is. And I run a damn YouTube page. A bitch says something about you on their social media, on their YouTube page, in their back room, you'd be amazed at how people you've never met come to unfollow you or leave the raggediest fucking messages in your comments or in your DMs. I can't believe. You're sitting here like, what did I do? You don't know them from Adam. That's what she's saying. But if I can show that me and her are still cool, the fans ain't got shit to say. That's what she was saying, girl. But no. Miss Tiffaney said, baby, you and I are real friends. Not that bought relationship you have with Stormi still. And she doesn't know how to be direct. So I'm going to ask the question. Was she wrong to put that into the comments, knowing how the fans can be? Do you think she was wrong for not standing up for you? And now Amber has to take a damn breath and say yes, because she's fearful that Tiffany's going to say, well, girl, that's not what you told me last night when we was talking about it. Because now Tiffany's on her. I'm going to check every single one of y'all hoes. I'm going to tell everything y'all said to me. And Amber knows it. It was on her face. She did not want to say it. She didn't. I caught it though. Anyway, Amber said at this point, because now she's Team Tiffaney, Kayla is Stormi's minion. You don't think you're a minion, Amber? You were one of the biggest minions this season. If we're calling people minions, you were one of the biggest. For sure. Absolutely. But she said, yeah, Kayla is definitely Stormi's minion. And when Kayla said, how? What did I do? They said, well, you said at that fight party or whatever that you can text Stormi 100 times, but she'll only text you back 3 times. And she said, and how does that make me a minion exactly? I agree. How does that make her a minion? So what? So what? Anyway, this was now the situation. Stormi put a battery in your back, girl. She put a battery in your back, and you'll do anything she tells you to do. And Stormi said, well, I got a Duracell in that motherfucker right now. If that's what I'm doing, then sure, I'm putting batteries in back. All right, cool. Now we're moving on to Tiffany and Kayla, because this is their scene. Tiffany basically confronts Kayla about what she did at lunch or brunch with her friend Kendra. You sat at that table with me and pretended like you didn't know what the mop situation was, girl. And that's why I call you Stormi's minion, because you knew what happened with the mop. You knew the situation. Cool. And then she said they run the footage back. They show Sonetta telling her. Now, mind you, when you see Sonetta sharing this story, Sonetta has put at least 100 on 10 when she's relaying it to Tiffany. If you listen to it, girl, and she said, go get the mop. And I was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, so this is your friend who's relaying the story to this girl. And she's putting all the stank on it in the world. Now, I would be more mad that Sonetta shared that story the way she did with Tiffany, who wasn't there, than I would be at Tiffany for saying I didn't hear it. Because I don't know if what I heard was true. But cool. Tiffany says, Sonetta's my friend. She told you what went down, and I didn't like that you wouldn't just stand in it and kept pretending like you didn't know what the fucking mop story was all about. So Kayla, who in my opinion has a little more backbone than the majority of people on the stage, Kayla said, "Cool, girl, you right. Sonetta did tell me the story. But when I sat there and listened to how you told it, the pieces that you did tell anyway, you kept saying how immature Stormi was. I heard Stormi's side of it. I heard Sonetta's side of it. I wanted to hear your side of it so I can put all the pieces together. Because the shit sound wild. Over a mop? Over a mop, it sound absolutely ridiculous. So 1000% I heard it. 1000% I tried to press you to get your side of it, your version of it. Absolutely, I did. And now Tiffaney feels like she won a little bit, right? Girl, you know what? I respect you more now than before because you at least is willing to tell it like this. At least you're willing to tell it like this, right? Cool. Cool. I'm just going to say that we'll get there. Hold on. Anyway, after that, this opens the door for them to discuss the mop situation. Now, Carlos King is like, baby, let's talk about this fucking mop because I've been in reality TV for a large majority of my career. And when I tell y'all, nobody has ever made a mop a point of contention on reality TV, you're right, because it's never been about the mop. It was always about who was bigger, who had more name power, who had more control over the friendship group. That's all it was from the beginning. Okay. So now they get to talk about this a little bit. I think there's a question, I don't know if it came up here or in another part, where Amber is asked, there's a question about this being Stormi's show. This is Stormi's show, and all of these ladies are kissing Stormi's ass because they don't want to be taken off the show. And Carlos said, do you feel like that, Amber? And Amber says, is this Stormi's show? Yes. We were all assembled around her. This is her story. But do I feel like I will be fired from the show if I'm not on Stormi's team? No, I don't feel that way. And they all kind of say, we're not Stormi's minions. We don't feel that way. We like Stormi, yes. But the problem with Tiffaney is she feels like you like Stormi more than you like her. That's what she feels. She feels that because some of her own friendships in this group have seemed to navigate closer to Stormi than they have to, and further away from her. They've migrated closer to Stormi, like Sonetta, who wasn't there, or even Amber. That's the reason she feels that way. But she's not deep enough or real enough or whatever the fuck enough to say that. Anyway, Stormi says something like, you know what? I wish that she would have been able to say she didn't like the mop comment. This is coming from Stormi. I wish I would have been able to say that I didn't like the mop comment. And hold on. Okay, my bad. I didn't read my notes properly. Stormi says, I wish I would have been able to say I didn't like the mop comment, and also have Miss Tiffaney tell me about that, have that one-on-one discussion without Sonetta coming to her and telling her for me, because I didn't know what the hell Sonetta said. I never talked to Sonetta. So when she brought it to me and said, Sonetta said, you were offended. What were you offended by? I wanted to know what she told her before I answer, because that's a big deal for me. Before I go jumping in and giving my side of the story, I need to know what was said to you. Cool, whatever. Because at this point, we're all exhausted, okay? But Tiffaney, I am going to say this about you. When you said that you wanted to, you're big on taking accountability, because if I do something wrong, I'm going to be the first to say I did something wrong. Well, that's not true when you haven't been able to do that. You haven't. What you do is, again, you want to take control of it instead of just saying, listen, I think I might have said something that offended you. I apologize. You could have did that right up front. If you're big on accountability, the second you realize that you were uninvited, you would have called her and said, I'm not calling to get an invite because that ship has sailed. I don't even want to be there no more. But what I do want you to know is that I didn't mean any ill will or malice in that comment. Instead, you made the shit about service, which was absolute crap, in my opinion. I would have never said that. I wouldn't even have thought to say it. And then when Stormi checks on it and said, bitch, you're trying to make it seem like it wasn't no big deal, a mop, a mop, a mop. However, when I said clean up on aisle 6, you was quick to say aisle 4. You repeated it exactly the way you heard it, exactly the way you said it, which lets me know it's been something that's been sitting with you. It was something you planned to do to keep me in check, to show everybody else I was in check with you. And that's true, because you wouldn't give a shit if you said aisle 4, aisle 5, aisle 6. You're mudslinging. You're adding more salt to the wound. And she already told you she was offended. Your friends told you she was offended. She made actions to show you she was offended by not inviting your ass to the 48-hour live. So there was a whole lot of things that happened that let you know a woman who's humble and who shows grace and should be able to use context clues. There was a lot of things that was already shown to you to let you know that. And if you wanted to squash it, you would have squashed it a long time ago. You would have been the bigger person. And I don't have to go to the 48-hour life. I don't even have to go to your house. I just want you to know that I'm not the bitch you tried to pin me as. I was making a joke. That was it. And until we know each other better, I'm a ease up with dealing with you at all. That's how you handle that. That's how grown people handle it. That's how people who are the realest handle it. It's not the invite for me. Screw the invite. I disinvite myself. It's that you think something of me that's not true about me. That's not my character. That's what I want you to know about me. And that's what you were never really clearing up for real. Anyway, they got into an argument so tough on this damn reunion stage that all I heard was from Tiffaney, bitch, your hair look like that fucking mop. You look like this. She was calling her all kinds of names. Stormi was calling Tiffaney all kinds of names. You bitch, you hoe. Carlos King's eardrums was being assaulted. He started throwing his hands up. Stop with the name calling. Stop with the name calling. I said, baby, if you don't go to commercial, if you don't go to commercial, that shit went so left. It went left. Okay. Bottom line is neither one of them was willing to move, not even a muscle. But I do know if you thought that you were being misunderstood is what you want to clear up. You are putting something on my character that's not accurate. The fact that you were 10 toes down in, it's funny to me. You asked me if I thought it was funny, and I did. Because I'm keeping it real. Because I'm the realist. Girl. That was the problem. And the bottom line is, Stormi did extend an olive branch to fix things. You just weren't ready to be there in that space. And that's okay too. That's human. I still feel away. And I'm not sure who my friends, or at least the women I thought I was closer to, Sonetta and Amber, who they're going to be when I get there. That's real too. You want to act like you're standing on your own, and you're not. You require those women to help you buck up. All that bravado comes from a little extra help. When Kendra was standing by your side, you was all the way up there, girl. All the way up there. And I feel like if Sonetta would have been standing beside you at Stormi's house and stopped being so damn googly-eyed over the cheese plates and the grapes and the lamb chops in every room she went in. If she wasn't doing that, if she was more, sour pussed out like you would have been happy. That's what it was giving. You would have been happy if your other friends were being sour pussed. That's unfortunate because you don't want friendships like that. You want people who can check you and say, girl, your face, are you okay? Well, maybe tell somebody you left the iron on or the kid is sick, but I don't want you to be walking around here like this. This ain't fair to you because I know you're better than this. They didn't do that. They were so gawked out by the shit that they left you hanging and swimming. That's what I think. That's what I think anyway. Anyway, Tiffaney says to Stormi, you make everything about your money, because she knows that she's swinging hard with this one. You make everything about your money. What type of person would you be if you was a broke bitch? You know what I'm saying? And your friendships, everything you got is because of your money. And now this hurts Stormi's feelings. Stormi, this is why I want you to come back to this show, because I need you to toughen up some of your muscles. But Stormi said that you was the first person to bring up my money, not me. I brought up the fact that I had $1 million live that I needed to get through because that's work for me. That's what it was called, bitch. It was $1 million live. I had goals to meet. I got people that I have to pay to. So I got goals to meet. I had a celebrity client who partnered with me, who expected a certain return on what she invested in. Hell yeah. It's $1 million investment, a multi-million-dollar investment. And if I don't have the right people around me, it might go south. I want every I dotted, every T crossed. And you wasn't meeting them. You wasn't meeting any of those buttons. And that's okay to say. I don't know you that well. I wasn't going to put you in a space with me where I don't know what the outcome of it was going to be. That's okay to say. And you could be mad that I called it a multi-million-dollar live all you want to. Get your weight up and then let me know. Let me know how you feel about it. When you have people in your life, when you're trying to do your businesses a certain way, let me know how that works out for you to put people in spaces that you don't really know fuck with you for real. That's real talk. Anyway, Stormi gets upset. She starts crying about how much God loves her. She's trying very desperately. I feel like Stormi might have had somebody go over some media training statements with her in this reunion, because some of the things she was saying didn't necessarily sound like her voice until she got mad. But when she was getting mad, she said, listen, people like you want to take my success from me all the time, want to belittle me, want to tell me that it's about my money, that I can't stand up on my own. When I know how hard I've worked, when I know exactly how many people I take care of, there's things that I've done in my life that nobody will ever know about me. Absolutely true. She didn't get to where she is, and we know where she come from. She didn't get to where she is without bumping her head, banging her, damn near lost her life, all that stuff, right? She said, I've lost everything I had and had to build it over again. So I'm not going to let a person like you take that from me. I'm not going to let a person like you belittle me and make me feel like I'm less than because I had to fight hard to be successful. And that's all it is, girl. She's just saying what she knows is going to affect your ego. That's going to be an insecurity for you. Anyway, after she gets all of that out, Stormi said, you mentioned my money way more than I actually mentioned my money. You talked about it in the car with Kendra. You brought it up with this person. You do it a lot. You do it a lot. And then they go back and show it. And she really did bring up the money more. Tiffaney really did bring up the money more as that being a part of Stormi's personality. That's part of your personality. And who are you without it? You should have met her a couple of years ago, or you should have met her first. You know what I'm saying? We know that she literally got it on her own. So we don't have to do all that. Story has to find balance between going off the handle and crying. She has to find a middle without worrying what the fans say. Agreed. I said the same thing. When I was watching it, I said, I need you to figure out how not to do that's crying, because your story is powerful. The things that you've gone through, 1000%, I can't even imagine. Just the shit we saw on the show for Love and Marriage Huntsville and the things that came up off of that motherfucker. That alone, okay? But you have a story, girl. This is your show. Don't let people run you the fuck up off of it. I hope you spend just a little bit of time with somebody who can give you the story in such a way, tell you your story so that you can say it again the way you used to say it on Love and Marriage Huntsville. I come from a one-stop lights town, blah, 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 blah. You had a story that you would regurgitate every time you went and did an interview. You need that story again, but you need to have a little more power behind it with your successes and your losses so that you're not crying and getting choked up about it. Because Tiffaney could never. Okay? She just can't. But anyway, she says, listen, I'm not going to let you do that to me. I know God loves me, something, something, something. And Tiffaney said, good, I'm glad you do know God loves you. Because in another thing, and when she started that, Carlos said, yeah, we're going to, let's end it here. Yeah, because you are looking for a new way to drag her. She's just not in the headspace for that. Let's not do it. Okay. Anyway, last scene was the Last Supper. And basically, Carlos says, you had this event. This was your way of showing that you were one of the girls. Basically, you're not above them. You're washing feet. But not everybody took it that way, child. Apparently, Fumi, who is the daughter of a preacher, she thought it was a little blasphemous, right? And Fumi said, listen, yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't want her to wash my feet. And now Tiffaney's like, well, bitch, no, because you and I talked about this and you didn't say it like that. You was in your confessional talking about you didn't agree with it. You would never relate the Last Supper in the Bible to some shit that was happening with a mop in Stormi Still's house, right? Absolutely not. And Fumi was trying to take her power back, but at the same time, she's looking at her like, girl, you know what I'm saying? Because you can tell that was something the two of them had as a moment of confidence, right? That was supposed to be kept between them. But now we know that Tiffaney is going to tell your business. And this is what that told me. You don't want that. You want to be able to build trust with these people. They're all new. You don't want to just say that. She could have stood on her own and just said, listen, I didn't like it. I already talked. Carlos asked her, why did you do it in confessional? Didn't need you to chime in, Tiffaney. But no, you're like, she talked to me about it. She didn't like it. It was blasphemous, according to her. And I agree with her. And why can't you tell her to her face? The same reason you can't. You're not as direct as you think you are. And now Fumi's feeling away. And Stormi knows that she feels away and she likes Fumi. So for that last moment, Stormi was able to collect her thoughts and see exactly what was happening. Because that's all it was. She was basically saying, they're not your friend. You don't have real friends. You're meeting all these people for the first time too, Tiffaney. These people aren't your friends either. But you want so desperately to prove that the only reason why these girls like Stormi is because this is her show. Cool, it is her show. Cool, they should like her because of it. You don't. So what? Not one time did Fumi say, I don't like Stormi. What she said was, I don't like that particular event. That's it. Stormi says, I get it, because now Stormi's taking it in. And even though she was pissed and maybe even a little bit hurt, she recognized what the fuck Tiffaney was doing. And I have to give her kudos for it. But she said, listen, I realize that I may have offended Fumi, Tiffaney, and whoever else who may have a real religious background. I get that. When I did it, I didn't think about it that way. I didn't think about who I might have offended. I thought it was successful because every one of y'all, whether you agreed with it or not, you participated in it. So because of that, I thought it was successful. But you have a right to be offended. You have a right to feel your feelings about it. I respect it. I understand it now, and I probably would not do that again. I would think better of it. That's all you can say. That was the smartest shit that she could have said, period. And then let me tell you what else she did, because she recognized what Tiffaney was doing, and it took her a minute to get there. But she looked over at Amber and she said, I know you felt like you were in the middle of me and Tiffaney, and I didn't want you to be there. And I actually was hurt because I wanted to talk to you about your IVF, but I couldn't because it was being filmed. There was a lot of things that you and I would have shared otherwise if it wasn't for this filming. And Amber tried to buck up and say, well, why didn't you just call me, friend? And then Stormi starts crying. Amber hops up out of her fucking seat so fast, Tiffaney's head spun around. Just that quick. Because Amber, she thought she had in her corner. Amber, she thought she talked to enough to say, bitches, you and I against all of them. Amber ran over to Stormi and hugged her and said, girl, I wish you would have just called me. And she said, but you know how I love you. And you know I wish that we wouldn't have done this. And she went, I know. And you know that we're not going to do this next time because both of us, we both let the show and this filming get in the way of our relationship and our friendship. We never did that before. And Amber agreed with her after Tiffaney just declared her as her one and only friend. So anyways, that's how it ended. But if these two don't get these egos in check, because it is both of them. But I said everything that Tiffaney accused Stormi and the others of doing, she herself did too. She did it. Anyway, that is the end of it. I'm going to do the poll. I'll get your poll results. Because I said, whose side are you on? And 55% of y'all said you were on Stormi's side, while 23% of you said you were on Tiffaney's side. And then 22% of y'all said that it was a 50-50 event for you. So 50-50. But yeah, that was it. So I will say this. I like the show. I do. I know that the argument was around a mop, but it had nothing to do with a mop. It was about control. It was about who controls the group. I think that Tiffaney did too much. I think that once the olive branch was extended, she should have accepted it genuinely. And if she couldn't, she should have said, you know what? Maybe next time, maybe you and I can meet at a later date. This isn't working for me. I think she was mad at that people she called real friends, Sonetta and Amber, because she thought that they were the minions. Not Kayla, not Fumi. I think she thought they were the minions who aligned themselves with Stormi and less with her. And I think that hurt her feelings. And I think she didn't know how to talk about it. And if she would have dealt with it and been real, she probably would have had those answers and not came after Stormi as hard as she did. That's what I think. But that's it, y'all. I have been on here for a long time, and y'all stuck it out with me, child. I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful. I'll have to go back through and read everybody's comments, but I do hope the show comes back. Nobody did anything that was so shameful that you have to leave this damn show. Come back. I think that this will grow your muscle to be a better person. You know what I'm saying? To answer questions better. They don't all deserve your tears, child. You have a program that works for you. You have a partner that works for you. Be proud of it. Be proud of it. Anyways, you guys are amazing. Thank you to all of my members who came through today and hung out with me. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to do another live today. I just got to figure out what it's going to be on. It could be on Divorced Sisters. I just got to go take some notes real fast. But Divorced Sisters by Tyler Perry over there on BET or Amazon Prime, whatever y'all got. That's a good show. That's a good show. So y'all make sure y'all keep y'all notification bells on so that we can talk about it. And yeah, keep your notification bells on, period. Make sure you hit the like button, share the video, all the things, all the things. If y'all didn't agree with me, I hope y'all still love me anyway. You're okay with having a different opinion. I don't mind it at all. I appreciate every single one of you guys for rocking with me. And until the next one, bye-bye.